In this video, I'm about to show you 10 Tyson Food brand products you need to avoid and 5 that are actually worth your hard-earned money. Starting with number 10. Number 10. Tyson Anytizers Honey Barbecue Boneless Chicken Wings. Let's start with something that should stop every single person reading that label dead in their tracks. Notice how Tyson spells wings on this product. W-Y-N-G-Z, not wings. Wings. You want to know why? Because legally they cannot call them wings. The USDA has strict labeling rules. If a product is labeled wings, it must come from the actual wing of a chicken. But Tyson's Anytizers? They're made from a blend of white and dark meat ground together, shaped and formed into something that resembles a wing. It is not a wing. It is a wing costume on a processed chicken blob, and they are charging you premium snack prices for it. Then there's the sauce. That honey barbecue glaze sounds warm, homemade, like something your neighbor makes on the grill in July. It isn't. It's made with high fructose corn syrup, modified cornstarch, caramel color, and natural flavors, which, by the way, is one of the most meaningless phrases in the entire food industry. Natural flavors can legally mean almost anything under FDA guidelines. One serving of these clocks in at around 200 calories, 9 grams of fat, and close to 600 milligrams of sodium. For what? 6 little formed pieces of processed chicken that aren't even real wings. Tyson has been selling these since the early 2000s, and they've grown into one of their biggest freezer aisle sellers. Over 40 million pounds of Anytizers products move through U.S. stores every single year. That is a lot of people eating something that the label legally cannot even describe honestly. If that doesn't bother you, it really should. Number 9. Tyson Fun Nuggets. Dinosaur Nuggets. These are marketed directly at children, and that is exactly what makes them worth talking about. The dinosaur shape, the fun packaging, the bright cartoon branding, all of it is engineered to get kids to scream for it in the grocery store aisle. Parents give in because the kids will eat it without a fight, and honestly, who has the energy to argue at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday? But look at what's actually inside these things, and you will think twice before you toss them in the cart. Tyson Fun Nuggets contain mechanically separated chicken that is the industry term for a paste-like product made by forcing bones with attached meat through a sieve under high pressure. The USDA acknowledges that mechanically separated chicken has a fundamentally different nutritional profile from whole muscle meat. The product also contains modified food starch, sodium phosphates, and autolyzed yeast extract, which is a hidden form of MSG that Tyson doesn't have to label as MSG because of a loophole in FDA labeling rules. They know exactly what they are doing with that. Each serving has around 180 calories, 10 grams of fat, and 470 milligrams of sodium. For kids eating multiple servings, which they always do, because they are kids, that sodium adds up frighteningly fast. A 2023 Consumer Reports analysis on ultra-processed children's foods specifically highlighted nugget-style products with mechanically separated poultry as among the most heavily processed items in American freezer aisles. These are not a fun dinner. They are a factory shortcut dressed up in a Triceratops costume. Number 8. Tyson Grilled and Ready Chicken Strips. This one really gets under the skin because it sells itself as the healthy option. Grilled. Ready. Sounds like something a nutritionist would recommend. The packaging shows lean chicken with grill marks, like someone just pulled it off a backyard barbecue. That is not what happened to this chicken, not even close. These strips are pre-cooked in a facility using a conveyor cooking system that applies simulated grill marks. Those dark lines are artificially applied during processing. The chicken itself is injected with a solution containing sodium phosphate, which is used as a water retention agent to boost the weight of the product before it ever reaches a package. That means you are paying for water weight. Independent grocery product audits have shown that solution-injected chicken products can contain up to 15% added water by weight before cooking. You are buying water at chicken prices. The sodium content per serving hits around 540 milligrams. Add to that the modified cornstarch and the natural smoke flavor, another wonderfully vague term that hides a lot of processing, and what you've got is a product that looks like a health choice, but behaves like a processed one. Tyson is counting on the word grilled, doing all the heavy lifting on that label. And for millions of shoppers, it works. Number 7. Tyson air-fried chicken strips. Tyson jumped on the air fryer trend hard and fast. Air-fried, they said. Less oil, they said. Better for you. And look, air frying as a cooking method does reduce fat compared to deep frying. That part is technically true. But what Tyson conveniently skips over is what's in the coating before that chicken ever goes near any heat source. The breading on Tyson air-fried chicken strips contains bleached wheat flour, modified food starch, salt, sugar, onion powder, garlic powder, and a list of leavening agents, including sodium acid pyrophosphate and sodium aluminum phosphate. That last one has been flagged in several European food safety reviews because of dietary aluminum accumulation concerns, particularly with frequent consumption. While the FDA classifies it as generally recognized as safe, multiple international regulatory bodies have disagreed with that assessment at repeated exposure levels. One serving delivers 220 calories, 8 grams of fat, and 590 milligrams of sodium. The marketing makes you feel like you are making the smart swap. The ingredient list tells a different story. Tyson spent an estimated $18 million advertising its air-fried product lines between 2020 and 2022. A lot of that money went toward convincing health-conscious shoppers this was a better option. Better than deep fried is a very low bar. That doesn't automatically make it good. Number 6. Tyson Crispy Chicken Strips. These are a staple in American freezers. You've probably had them at a family dinner, grabbed a bag on a weeknight when nobody felt like cooking a real meal. They taste decent, that is not the issue. The issue is that Tyson has been quietly adjusting the formula on these over the years, while keeping the packaging looking nearly identical to what it always was. A comparison of ingredient panels from 2018 versus current packaging shows the addition of several new texture-modifying agents, including methylcellulose, a plant-derived fiber compound used in food manufacturing to improve binding and moisture retention in formed meat products. It is the same compound widely used in plant-based burger patties to mimic the chew of real meat. Finding it in a chicken strip that is supposed to be real chicken is worth knowing about. The coating contains distilled monoglycerides and TBHQ tertiary butyl hydroquinone, a synthetic antioxidant used to extend shelf life. The European Union has placed TBHQ on a list requiring further safety evaluation. Japan has banned it outright. The FDA allows it at up to 0.02% of total fat content. That level is considered safe, but the fact that this ingredient sits under scientific review in multiple countries while quietly living inside your weeknight chicken strips is information every shopper deserves to have. Number 5. Tyson Fully Cooked Chicken Patties. The frozen chicken patty is one of the most purchased freezer items in America. Convenient, fast, affordable Tyson's version moves millions of units every year. But spend 30 seconds actually reading the ingredient panel, and you will start wondering what exactly has been going between those buns all this time. Tyson Fully Cooked Chicken Patties contain chicken with up to 20% solution, meaning 1/5 of what you are paying for is an injected mixture of water, salt, sodium phosphates, and modified food starch. The breading layer contains bleached enriched flour, which is wheat flour stripped of its natural nutrients during processing and then artificially re-enriched with synthetic versions of those same nutrients. It is nutritional theater. Take it out, put a cheap version back in, call it enriched. Sodium per patty runs around 580 milligrams. Tyson Foods reported net sales of $47 billion in fiscal year 2022. They know exactly what is in these patties. The formula stays the same because it keeps costs low and margins high. That is not a conspiracy theory, that is a quarterly earnings call. The American Heart Association recommends keeping daily sodium under 2,300 milligrams. One of these patties gets you a quarter of the way there before you have added a single condiment. Number 4. Tyson Buffalo-style boneless chicken bites. Buffalo flavor is one of the most popular flavor profiles in American snack culture, and Tyson absolutely knows that. These boneless chicken bites ride that wave as hard as they can. Bright orange packaging, the promise of heat and tang, the word boneless making it sound like real wing meat pulled clean off the bone. But the first ingredient listed after chicken is water. Then modified food starch, then salt, then sodium phosphates, then vinegar, and somewhere much further down that list, eventually, cayenne pepper shows up. The buffalo-style coating delivers its flavor almost entirely through sodium. One serving, which Tyson defines as about 84 grams, roughly 6 pieces delivers 640 milligrams of sodium. That is more than a quarter of your entire recommended daily intake in 6 pieces. And nobody eats 6 pieces of buffalo chicken. People eat 12, 15, 20. That is by design. The flavor system in these products is built to drive you to keep eating, and the sodium load compounds with every bite. In 2020, a class action lawsuit was filed against Tyson Foods in the Northern District of Illinois, alleging consumer deception around the nature of boneless wing products. Specifically, what boneless wings means when the product is formed from processed meat rather than whole wing muscle. Tyson settled the case. The product remained on shelves, completely unchanged. Number 3. Tyson Naturals Chicken Breast Tenderloins. This one is personal because when you see the word naturals on a Tyson product, you genuinely think you are finally getting the clean version. No additives, no processing shortcuts, just chicken. That is precisely what the label is designed to make you believe, and it is very good at its job. Tyson Naturals products carry the labels "No Artificial Ingredients" and "Minimally Processed," but minimally processed is a USDA designation that applies to any raw or single ingredient food that has not been fundamentally altered. Under this definition, a chicken breast that has been injected with a salt solution still qualifies as minimally processed as long as the added ingredients are considered natural in origin. The Naturals line still contains up to 15% retained water solution with chicken broth and sea salt. Sea salt is still sodium. Chicken broth sounds warm and wholesome, but as an injected solution, it is functioning as a flavor enhancer and moisture booster, performing the exact same role as sodium phosphate in the cheaper products. The Naturals line costs approximately 20 to 30% more than Tyson's standard chicken at most major U.S. retailers. You are paying a premium for the word natural on a label that has no formal FDA regulatory definition when applied to meat packaging. Tyson's legal team is fully aware of that. So are their marketing directors. The price gap exists because the branding works, not because the product is fundamentally different. Number 2. Tyson Blackened Chicken Strips. Blackened seasoning is a real cooking tradition. Heavy spices, screaming hot cast iron, genuine char that develops deep flavor. When it's done right, it is one of the great things American Southern cooking gave the world. Tyson's blackened chicken strips are not that, not even in the same neighborhood. The blackened seasoning on these strips is an applied dry rub containing spices, sugar, salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and caramel color. That last ingredient added specifically to visually simulate the darkened, charred appearance of traditionally blackened cooking. Real blackening is a cooking process that happens in high heat. What Tyson does is dust a pre-cooked conveyor line chicken piece with a tinted spice blend so it looks like it was blackened. It was not. The color came from caramel coloring applied in a factory, not from a pan. Sodium content per serving runs at 610 milligrams. The strips contain sodium phosphate and modified food starch just like the rest of the lineup. What earns this the number 2 spot on the avoid list is the gap between what the product implies, real technique, authentic cooking, handcrafted flavor, and what it actually is. A formed piece of processed chicken with artificial browning applied after the fact. You are paying for a story that never happened. Number 1. Tyson Anytizers, Buffalo Style Boneless Wings. And here we are at number 1, the worst of the worst on the Tyson shelf. And it is completely fitting that the top spot goes to a product that legally cannot use correct English spelling on its own packaging. Tyson Anytizers Buffalo Style Boneless Wings, W-Y-N-G-Z, not wings, are a fully formed processed chicken product containing mechanically separated chicken, water, salt, sodium phosphates, modified food starch, isolated soy protein, sodium aluminum phosphate, and TBHQ. That is two of the most internationally scrutinized food additives, sodium, aluminum phosphate, and TBHQ, appearing together in a single product that markets itself as party food for your living room. Sodium per serving hits 680 milligrams. The defined serving size on the package is 5 pieces. Nobody on earth eats 5 pieces of anything at a party. A 2022 analysis of ultra-processed food consumption in U.S. adults found that formed meat category products were among the highest contributors to excess sodium intake in Americans over the age of 50. That is exactly who is buying bags of these to put out at family gatherings, because they are cheap and require no effort. Between 2019 and 2022, Tyson Foods issued multiple recalls covering over 8 million pounds of chicken products across various product lines following contamination investigations. Tyson Foods posted annual revenues of $53 billion in fiscal year 2023. They have every resource in the world to do better. They choose not to because this formula sells. The wings keep moving, the profits keep climbing, and the ingredient list stays exactly the same year after year. No amount of rebranding changes that math until the formula on that label actually changes first. Now look, this is not about writing off an entire company or pretending every single thing they make is garbage. Tyson makes some products that genuinely earn a spot on your shopping list, real products where the ingredient list is short, the sourcing is cleaner, and the value is honest. So let's get into those 5, starting with number 5. Number 5, Tyson all-natural fresh chicken breasts. Here is where Tyson actually gets it right, and they deserve real credit for this one. The all-natural fresh chicken breasts are genuinely one of the cleanest, most straightforward chicken products available at a mainstream U.S. grocery store. One ingredient, chicken. No solution injection. No sodium phosphates, no modified starch hidden in the middle of the list. Just a whole muscle chicken breast raised without antibiotics ever, and that last part matters more than most people realize when they're standing in the meat aisle. According to the FDA, overuse of antibiotics in livestock directly contributes to the rise of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, a public health crisis that kills an estimated 35,000 Americans every single year. Tyson's all-natural fresh line is part of their No Antibiotics Ever program, which received independent USDA verification as of 2021. That is not a marketing phrase someone in their PR department made up. It is a third-party confirmed claim that means something real. These breasts run between $4 and $6 per pound at most major retailers, including Walmart, Kroger, and Target. For a whole muscle, no additive, antibiotic-free chicken breast at that price point, that is legitimately competitive with what you would pay at a specialty grocery store. If you are buying chicken to actually cook at home, really cook, not microwave, a processed strip, this is where you start with Tyson. Number 4, Tyson Fresh, 80/20 ground chicken. Ground chicken does not get nearly enough respect, and that is a shame. Most people reach for ground beef out of pure habit without thinking about whether it's the right choice for what they're making. But for anyone watching saturated fat intake or just wanting a leaner protein that still has enough fat to cook well, Tyson's Fresh 80/20 ground chicken is a product that earns its spot in your cart. The 80/20 ratio, 80% lean meat, 20% fat, gives ground chicken the fat content it needs to actually perform well in a pan. One of the biggest frustrations people have with ground chicken is that it dries out completely, crumbles apart, and loses all texture when cooked. The 80/20 blend holds together, browns properly in a hot skillet, and carries seasoning the way ground meat is supposed to. Per 3-ounce serving, you are looking at 170 calories, 10 grams of fat, and 21 grams of protein. Saturated fat sits significantly lower than comparable 80/20 ground beef. Tyson sources this product fresh, not frozen, with a clear use-by dating system and consistent quality across major U.S. retail chains. No additives in the base product. One ingredient. The American Heart Association has recommended lean poultry as a preferred protein over red meat in dietary guidelines, published as recently as 2022. This product fits that recommendation while still tasting like actual food. That combination is rarer than it should be. Number 3, Tyson air-chilled boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Most commercially processed chicken in the United States goes through water chilling after slaughter. Carcasses are submerged in cold water baths to bring temperatures down quickly before packaging. It is fast, industrial, and it causes the chicken to absorb water during the chilling process. That absorbed water ends up in the package. You pay for it at the register. And when you cook it, that water steams out of the meat rather than allowing it to sear, leaving you with pale, rubbery chicken even in a screaming hot pan. That frustrating result is not your fault. It is a built-in consequence of how the chicken was processed. Tyson's air-chilled line uses cold, forced air instead of water immersion. The chicken never touches a water bath during chilling. The result is a naturally drier surface on the breast, which means dramatically better browning when it hits a hot pan, cleaner flavor in the finished product, and no hidden water weight inflating the package price. Independent culinary testing published by Cooks Illustrated found that air-chilled chicken produced measurably better Maillard reaction results, the deep browning and crust development that makes properly cooked chicken taste the way it's supposed to compared to standard water-chilled product from the same price tier. Tyson's air-chilled boneless, skinless chicken breasts cost slightly more than their standard breasts at most retailers, but you are not paying for added water weight. That small premium is genuinely worth it if you care about what ends up on your plate. Number 2. Tyson's Simply Seasoned Chicken Breasts. For the nights when there is no time or energy to marinate anything, when you need dinner on the table fast and you don't want to open a product with 12 ingredients you can't pronounce, Tyson Simply Seasoned Chicken Breasts fill a real and honest gap in the market, and they do it more straightforwardly than almost any other pre-seasoned chicken product sitting in the freezer aisle right now. The seasoning blend is genuinely simple: salt, garlic, lemon, and herbs. No caramel color to fake a visual, no TBHQ to extend the shelf life into next year, no modified starch coating the outside. The sodium content is higher than unseasoned chicken, around 480 milligrams per serving, but for a fully pre-marinated product, that is a reasonable number compared to the 600 plus milligrams packed into the processed strip products on the bad half of this list. These are whole muscle chicken breasts. You can see the grain of the meat because it is actual muscle fiber, not a formed mixture pressed into a shape. Between 2018 and 2022, consumer surveys by the International Food Information Council consistently showed that ingredient simplicity ranked among the top 3 purchasing priorities for American grocery shoppers over the age of 45. Tyson heard that feedback and built a real response to it. Unlike a lot of corporate reactions to consumer pressure that amount to rebranding the same old product, Simply Seasoned actually delivers what it promises. Number 1. Tyson No Antibiotics Ever Chicken Thighs. The best Tyson product you can buy right now is one that most shoppers walk straight past without a second glance: the No Antibiotics Ever Chicken Thighs. And the reason they earn the number 1 spot comes down to 3 things that matter: honesty, real value, and flavor that doesn't need to be manufactured in a factory. Chicken thighs are darker meat with naturally higher fat content, which makes them more forgiving to cook and more flavorful by default. A boneless, skinless chicken thigh carries roughly 3 grams of saturated fat per serving, compared to about 1 gram in a breast. That small difference in fat is the difference between dry and flavorless versus juicy and satisfying, even when you slightly overcook it. Tyson's No Antibiotics Ever Thighs carry full USDA verified third-party certification, meaning the antibiotic-free claim has been confirmed by an independent auditor, not simply stamped on the package by the company's own marketing team. The price is genuinely honest. At most major U.S. retailers, Walmart, Kroger, Publix, H-E-B, these thighs run between $3 and $5 per pound for a fresh package. 1 pound feeds a real meal. The ingredient list has 1 item on it. In 2022, Tyson committed to the No Antibiotics Ever standard across their entire fresh chicken portfolio, a move that put them measurably ahead of many competitors operating in the conventional grocery space. That commitment cost them money in production. They made it anyway. This is the product that shows what Tyson is actually capable of when they decide to prioritize the chicken over the chemistry. No fake grill marks. No formed meat shaped into something it isn't. No ingredient list that reads like a lab report. Just chicken clean, properly sourced, honestly labeled chicken at a price that doesn't require you to rearrange your whole grocery budget. That is what number 1 looks like, and that is the Tyson product that deserves to be in your refrigerator.